Hello everyone, welcome back to another Middle Earth Battle Report. Again, doing a practice for the league games. Luckily Dave isn't in the same league as me, so we're having a good little practice. I want to try out an army and see if it works well or not. So Dave will be playing as the Kingdom of Khazad-dum for his league games, and this will probably be his list. The mission is Assassination, so we'll have a look at Dave's list first. The point limit is 650 points, and Dave has gone for Durin as his leader, and in his warband are 11 Khazad Guard. Second warband is led by Mardin, and it are 12 dwarf warriors, and we have 4 with shield, 4 with dwarf bow, and 4 with two-handed axe. And the third warband is led by a Dwarf King with no additional weaponry. We've had to use Balin for this proxy. I'm sure it won't be too much of a problem. And again, another 12 dwarf warriors, 4 shields, 4 dwarf bows, 4 two-handed axe. So a lot of dwarves, a lot of high defense, good fight values, and a very tough hero to kill. So over to what I'm taking. So I'm taking a Minas Tirith list again. I'm pretty sure this may be the list I'm taking, but I'm going to combat test it against these dwarves. My leader and first warband is Aragorn, King Lesser, with an armoured horse. A very good hero to have, since he has a 3 point of might every turn. I only need 4s to wound if I'm going single-handed. If I'm going double-handed, 3s to wound. And also it counts as a 6-inch banner as well. In his warband, a bit of a mixture. We have 8 warriors of Minas Tirith with shield, a citadel guard, 2 fountain guard with spears and shield, and 4 rangers of Gondor with spear. Second warband is Hurin on a horse, and in his warband are 7 warriors of Minas Tirith with shield and 7 rangers with spear. And my final warband is an Avenger bolt thrower with swift reload. And if any of the people in my league are watching this mission, I'm definitely probably not going to take a bolt thrower. Cough. Right, so we're going to roll now for priority to see who is putting down units first. So, oh no, we don't roll for priority yet. We'll be deploying first, and then I'll get back to priority. So here we have deployment. I have my bolt thrower here, looking at this dwarf band here, led by the Dwarf King, and the rest of my lads are over here, staring down at the rest of the dwarf army over here. Nice little bit of a split here. Hopefully I can get my guys into a good position before anything happens. So we have Mardin here, not Mordin, with his troll spear behind this hill here, and we have Durin. Looks like he's doing some last rites for these Khazad guards over here, giving them a speech of encouragement. Now they need it, since these dwarves are on a 2-game winning run, and I'm on a 3-game losing run with Middle Earth at the moment. So hopefully, I've picked a brilliant army to try my luck against, on formed dwarf army. So everything's deployed, and we're going to roll for priority. I got a 3, and Dave gets a 4. Dave gets priority first turn, and the dwarves are going to be represented by the Eye of Sauron for today's game. In the movement step, I'm calling a heroic march with Aragorn, using his 3 point of might for this turn. Okay, so he doesn't move first. He moves when he moves, and then he can call with me if he wants. So basically he gives everyone an additional half move. So for him, 5 inches, everyone else 3 inches. Okay, just let you know before we get into anything. And we'll get back to after movement. This is the end of movement for Minas Tirith. I didn't move Aragorn his full available move, just because I wanted the rest of the guys to finish within 6 inches of him. The dwarves have tried to shuffle into cover from the bolt thrower, and these dwarves over here are starting to form up their battle line. So the dwarves don't have any shooting because they've moved full, or this dwarf has jumped up. So my bolt thrower has d6 shots, but I rolled 2 dice because I have swift reload, and I have 5 shots. So I'm going to have a look to see what I can see, and we'll see what happens. Apologies to Dave, he did have 2 shots, they both missed. So with my 5 shots, my bolt thrower is going to be going for the Dwarf King, and there's going to be 1, 2, 3 in the ways from here. Okay, so I need 4s to hit, 3 hit, and then the first in the way, 1 goes through, so 2 are going on 1 dwarf. The next one doesn't go through, so I managed to hit 2 dwarves. So the first dwarf in front with shield is dead, and then the other one is also dead. 7 onto 6, 7 onto 7 actually is 4s, so we have 2 dwarf casualties so far. And that is the end of turn 1. So we're rolling for priority. So it'll be going to me because Dave has rolled a 1. In the movement phase, are you calling anything? Okay, right, I'm not going to call anything either, so we'll just go straight into movement. That's movement done. We've got 2 combats that will be happening, and the dwarves are slowly making their way. I may have made a blunder in this game, which I just realised, and Dave potentially might have spotted, but it doesn't matter, because I have a plan. Not that plan, survive contact with the enemy, even if I was doing the correct plan. So Dave has he has 1 shot currently, but I'm shooting first. So my bolt thrower, how many shots does it have?
It has
2 shots. Going for the dwarf on top of the building. I have 1 hit. He's alive.
It doesn't go through, does it?
No, he doesn't die.
Oh.
Okay, right, so you're firing with your dwarf then, at what?
I will go.
In the shooting phase, the dwarf was unsuccessful also, so we'll start with commas. We'll start with the guy on the end. I'm going to be fighting normally because I can't feint, because I would actually be stabbing, because the fight value of my warrior is lower than the dwarf. So 2 dice, and Dave has 1 dice, and of course we're tied fight value thanks to the ranger. So 3 and a 1 and a 1. So your dwarf gets knocked back 1 inch, and I need 6. No, the guy on the end there, and I need 6s to kill him, and I do.
Nice.
6 and a 2. Yeah, there we go. The proof there. Yeah. Didn't just put that on a 6. So then we have the last combat in this turn. So again, 1 dice for Dave, and I'm fighting normally. So Dave gets a 2, and I get a 6. He gets knocked back 1 inch, and I need a 6 to kill. And I had a 5 high, unfortunately. So that is it for this turn, and now we have priority. So I get a 3, and Dave gets a 3. So that goes to dwarves.
Happy with that.
For turn 3. Take a photo of that, and I am going to take a photo of the thumbnail, and I'll get back to you whether I'm going to do anything. So here's movement. I didn't do any heroics because line of sight and all, but then Dave moved his dwarves out. So Aragorn and co were able to get some charges in. As I'm precariously balanced on this hill, we're not classing it as difficult terrain, but as you all well know what sloped terrain and these bases are like. Dave's having a terrible time over here as well. I've moved my bolt thrower out of the terrain. We are having these bits of difficult terrain, so only 3 inches I could get him out. So we only have 1 shot this turn, and it's this dwarf archer, and he's going to have to target someone over here, basically.
Alright. I can't go for the blister, right?
Yeah, you can go for the blister if you're in range, 18 inches. Yeah, it should be 18 inches, but it's always worth checking. That's 16.
Oh. What am I doing? Sabotaging myself.
Nah, you're just out, I think.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. Okay, so you'll have to go for one of these guys over here.
Okay. I will go for the spear back. Is he the high defense one though?
Oh no, the guys with the crests.
Right.
Oh, the high defense one. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 3 in the ways.
3 in the ways?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, and then 4.
Oh, but if I hit one of the other guys...
You just hit him and then roll to wound. So 4 to hit. Yep, and then it's 4, 5, 6 that goes through to the next warrior.
It's off the table.
Yep, goes through and then goes through. Does it go through the next guy? Keep going.
What's I've hit?
No, you keep on going through.
Oh, right.
And it goes through again, so now we're on to the Fountain Court Guard. Does it go through him?
What hell of a trick shot there.
Yeah. Nope.
Oh, no.
So it'll be 6 to kill.
Is he the high defense one as well?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You'll probably get it, and it'd be a better shot. No, it's a 1. Okay, so we're into the combat phase. So Aragorn is going to be using his 3 point of might to call a hero combat. So that one will be going first. Okay, so also you don't need to colour anything off. So Aragorn gets 4 dice because he's on the charge. And I get a 6, so I win the fight because of his fight value. So this is the first set of strikes needing only 4s. And that is 1 dead dwarf. Yeah. So he'll kill this guy, and then I'll get to move him into someone else. Okay, so I'll get back to what I've done. So I've gone for it. I've put Aragorn onto the Dwarf King. It's Dave's priority, so he'll be picking the order of the fights. But I think you can agree we'll leave that one to the end. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So we'll get back to you on the results of the rest of the fighting, and then we'll record this, hopefully not a backfire for me. So this is the conclusion of the rest of the fight. I think the dwarves lost about 4 dwarf warriors, so no losses on my side yet. Hurin did lose his fight though, but luckily the dwarf warrior shielded. So now we have Aragorn with his 4 attacks, and I also have 2 warriors in a warrior in Minas Tirith and a ranger, and the king has how many attacks?
2.
Okay, but we're tied fight value. Okay, so do you want to roll your 2 dice? So there's a 6. And there's my 6. So, you're phasing player, Dave. So a 1, 2 you win.
Okay.
3, 4, 5, 6 I win. It's because Anduril is an elven made weapon.
Okay.
And 2, he wins. So I'm guessing so you got 2 wounds here to inflict.
How many wounds has Aragorn got?
He's got 3. So what do you want to go for?
Only fate.
3.
I'll try and take some guys out, I think.
Okay, so do you want to do 1 strike at a time? So what is the strength value of your king?
Strength
It's about, should be
4.
okay, so you'll need a 5 to kill a warrior. Yep, so then you might as well go for Aragorn or his horse, because there's no one else to hit.
Should I go for the horse?
The horse, you'll be wounded on a 5. No. Okay, so basically the horse survives, Brago survives. So now we're going into priority again. Goes to me. Any heroics, Dave?
Can I call a heroic movement with the Dwarf King?
Yeah, so Dave is calling a heroic move with the Dwarf King. I'm going to use Aragorn's 3 point of might to counter as well. You colour off your might.
It does say reveal the cards.
Okay, so on a 1, 2, 3, the dwarves go first, and it's a 2, so the dwarves go first.
Phasing play.
Yeah. Okay, so we will do everything within 6 inches of that king, and then we'll go into the rest of the movement. So here is the mess on movement. Unfortunately, I didn't get any charges off on Aragorn and Hurin. We do have a few more shots this turn, so I do have these dwarf rangers with some clear lines of shots, and I also have my bolt thrower which hasn't moved. And Dave has one dwarf archer again, his little sniper up there. Hopefully I can get rid of him before anything happens. So 2 dice, 5 shots. So here's my 5 dice. And all going on the dwarf archer, since that's all I can see. So that is only 2 hits, and then it's going to be 4s to wound. I'm going to might it. Yep. Might as well might it, and there's that dwarf archer gone. And then I'll do the rest of the shots, and then we'll be in combat phase. So these 2 fired at 2 Khazad up the way. That was my first dice rolls. Oh no, I hit 3 and a 4. That's my first wound rolls. There you go, I got excited. And then that was my second wound roll, 6 and a 4. So can you remove those 2 Khazad off the end? Dave said I should have filmed that, but if I'd filmed it, that wouldn't have happened. So we're in combat phase now. I'm going to be calling a heroic strike with Aragorn, burning an actual point of might with him. Okay. Your Dwarf King has heroic resolve and heroic march, so you can't really stop that. The only thing you could call is a heroic combat, but I don't know how that would.
So what would a heroic combat?
It would just mean you'd have to go first, and if you killed everyone there, you'd be able to move again. But I think it would be best to hold your might.
Yeah.
Okay, because he is trapped as well, and I will be doing that combat first. Aragorn's fight value will go up. Even if I rolled a 1, it will be higher than your Dwarf King. So I have 3 dice for Aragorn, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more guys in that fight. So a 6, and a banner reroll. Win. So luckily the banner reroll from Aragorn got me a 6. So here's the first set of strikes. So from Aragorn, 1 wound from Aragorn, and then 2 wounds from Aragorn. So he's got 2 wounds, isn't he?
Yeah.
So you got a fate roll on a 4, 5, 6. So at that point, a might would save him for now.
A might?
Yeah, a fate point. So don't colour off your wound. It's basically both your might.
You can stop me a moment. Sorry.
So far, Aragorn hasn't killed him. So now the regular dudes are going to have a go. So I'm going to roll all 8 dice because 4, and then 4 again because he's trapped. So I need 6s followed by 4s. I have 1 out of all that lot. Come on. Yay! Dwarf King dead. And unfortunately he's not my target. I forgot. Right, so he's dead, and then we will do the rest of the combats, get back to you and conclude the turn. So that is that for this turn. I think 2 more dwarves drop down, and Hurin and the 4 dudes here could not kill this dwarf warrior, unfortunately. So we're going into priority, and we'll get back. Priority, I'm rolling, and I get a 6. Dave gets a 1, so I retain priority. Any heroics, Dave?
I'm not going to beat the 6 anyway, man.
Oh no, you just potentially counter it,
No,
but
I'm just thinking because I got dwarfs, I got Durin's thing on, like, so I get...
no, you can't. Well, if you got a 6, you would win it. Because it's better now. Yeah, so Dave was just wondering whether they used Durin's ring, but he's thought against it. So I will have my movement, and then Dave will follow. So we have movement finished. Aragorn and Hurin have both charged. I'll put the markers down. I luckily just managed to form up my battle line before the dwarves have clashed against it, and we've got most of the Khazad guard up again. And again, as we're going into the shooting phase again, these two hero archers over here, which are probably not going to do anything this turn, the bolt thrower, and of course his adversary up on the walls here. So the bolt thrower, how many shots do you have? 4. How many shots do you hit with? Oh, my target is obviously the dwarf. 4 hits.
He's gone, so
No wait, I used a point of might to kill him last turn. Remember? Get rid of your dwarf archer, Dave. Alright, considering he's not here anymore, Dave, you're gonna let me move my bolt thrower?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dave. So I'll move him in a minute, and I'm gonna fire these two. You cheeky boy. So the archers hit twice, and then 6s by 4s. Another kill on a Khazad guard. So it will make sense to have it as that one there.
Alright. Nicely painted.
Nicely painted one, yeah. Okay, so that's another kill. I'll move my bolt thrower. In the combat phase, I'm calling a heroic combat with Aragorn using his 3 point of might. Yeah, might as well. Okay, and Dave has none of his heroes in combat, so there's no counters for that. So we will do that, and then we'll finish all the other fighting, and then I'll just do a summary. So this is the board after combat. I think the dwarves lost about 4, 2, 1 to Aragorn, 1 to Hurin, and then I think 2 out of this main line, and I lost a warrior. Aragorn's heroic move, I put him to here, so basically his 6-inch banner range has caught the rest of the front line. Not that I needed it, unfortunately. It's not Dave's day for the dice. Maybe roll the red ones. Yeah. Dave's switching dice. I shouldn't have said that. Should not have said that. Okay, so we're going into priority again for turn 6, and I get a 3, and Dave gets a 1.
No.
Any heroics? Only problem is I think all your heroes are stuck behind people. You can, yeah. Anything? You gonna call anything? Anything? Huh? Anything?
Can I get him through the...
Grab a dead dwarf and check to see if his base, and make sure that you take your dead dwarf off this time, Dave.
Alright.
Yeah, you can do that.
So I'm gonna use a point of might to...
Call the heroic move with Mardin. Awesome. And why am I using nothing for me to colour off? So yeah, I'm gonna let that happen. So basically Dave's gonna measure everything within 6 inches, and they move now and they have to end within 6 inches of Mardin, and then I'll do my move, and then we'll see what happened. So here's a summary of the movement. The dwarves got all their heroes stuck in this time. Durin's in, Mardin's in, and Aragorn and Hurin are double teaming this one dwarf over here, and the bolt thrower is making his way over slowly again. As for shooting, you have 1 shot on that citadel guard, just because the combat's blocking it, and you can't shoot into combat. So do you want to do your shot? I believe he moved.
This guy didn't move.
Okay, you need a 4. Hit, and then you need a 5. No. Okay, in combat, I'm going to be calling a heroic combat using Aragorn's 3 point of might. Okay, are you going to be calling anything?
I don't think it's anything.
I can do that. I should have killed that point to might. Did I already do that?
Yes, you have.
I'll call them Barl into combat it then.
Who?
Sorry, Mardin.
Mardin.
Combat, yeah.
Okay, so Mardin's also calling a heroic combat, so you colour that off. And I'm rolling the dice. 1, 2, 3. I get to go. 1, 2, 3. It's Dave. 4, 5, 6. It's me. it's Dave gets to go first. Okay, so we will get back to you. If any heroes end up fighting each other, we will be recording it. So Mardin burnt all his might, killing Aragorn. So Aragorn is now fighting Mardin, who's still on the charge, which is problematic for me. We'll see how the combat goes, but it could be problematic for me. So, Dave, roll your 2 dual rolls and see what you get. 5 high, and I get a 5 high and a 1, but Aragorn's fight value is higher. So Mardin gets knocked down, and I get 8 hits on him, and I need 4s to wound. And basically that is 2 wounds on him so far, and you have 1 fate point. And Mardin's dead, which is a problem, because I wanted Hurin to kill him. Because
he is the target.
Hurin's the assassin and Mardin's the target. So thanks, Dave.
Well,
but I still get some points for that, unfortunately. So take Mardin off, and then Aragorn gets to move. I don't think I'll be able to move very far, though.
Do you want me to tell you a secret?
What?
Do you know my targets?
Hurin.
No.
Siege vet.
Yeah. Do you know who the assassin is?
Mardin.
No.
Dwarf
King.
Alright, so
So neither of us are gonna.
oh, you shouldn't have told me that.
Why?
I don't know.
Yeah, because we fucked our chances on both fronts.
Oh,
Because you fucked it, I fucked
no, well, I still know all I need to do now is keep my siege veteran out of the way. Oh, Dave!
Right. I'd still get 5 points, wouldn't I?
Right, get Mardin out of the way then, and because we know what you're like for not taking casualties away, and I don't think Aragorn can move at all anyway, but we'll get back to you after what happens. Thanks. So that's what combat looks like at the end of the turn. Durin did win his fight, but then really struggled to kill a dwarf warrior.
Yeah.
Luckily, the dwarves reroll 1s to wound. Obviously, Aragorn and Hurin managed to kill their guy. So I think I lost a couple of warriors, and Dave lost a couple of warriors, but Dave is broken. So we're not rolling to see if the game ends yet, because you're only broken at the beginning of the turn. So we have priority. 4 and a 5. So it is Dwarven priority. And obviously Durin doesn't need to do a courage test because he's fearless. So Dave got to move first. I didn't challenge that. Durin didn't move because basically where he was, he covered all of the dwarf warriors, and because he's fearless, he called a stand fast. So no dwarves had to do a courage test. They very well have stopped Aragorn from moving. But I didn't invite any trouble, so I've kept away from Durin, so he can't do anything more this turn apart from shout encouragement to the dwarves. Going into the combat phase, I am going to be calling a free hero combat with Aragorn. So might as well see how it goes. So we'll do that now. So you've got 2 dice, and I've got 3. I got 6, so I win. So I need 4s to wound. And that's 2 dwarves killed, and then Aragorn gets to move. And the reason I've done that is because I want Aragorn to be in banner range for more of my guys. So I'll move him, and then we'll go into the rest of the combat. This is how the turn ended. I think I killed 1 dwarf.
Yes.
And that wasn't including Aragorn's double kill. And I think Dave took out a fair few warriors that turn. But Dave is phasing player, so you have the honours of seeing if the game ends, mate.
Okay.
A 1 or 2 will end this game. It's end. You've successfully rolling lots of 1s. So fist bump. Okay, and we'll do the scores, and we'll tell you what the scores are. Is what we're going to do.
Clearly won.
Okay. So the game has gone to me, 8-0. Still not as much as Dave smashed me. I'm quite happy with this army, just for the fact that Aragorn can take out even the most heavily armoured stuff.
On a
And
4,
on a 4 or 3 if he goes two-handed, but then I go -1 on my dual rolls, which is problematic. But Hurin, unfortunately, could not get him onto Mardin. Aragorn killed him, because that's what Aragorn does. We're talking tactics. I said to Dave I was really surprised when he split one of his warbands completely away from the rest of the army, and we both agree that probably what swung it, because I think the last time I played Dave I tried splitting up the dwarf army with my whole force, wiping them out before the rest got there. It didn't work.
That's the thing with the dwarves, isn't it? And they're hardy, they stay in the game for a while, so if you keep them all together, you stand a good chance against pretty much anybody. But the reason I split them was because the target for me would have been the dwarf ballista, so
I think
then I could have gone a different way about it.
Yeah, I think if I was Dave and I had positioned the way Dave had, I would have probably kept on gunning for the ballista through here, and it would have still taken quite a bit of time for the Gondor army to go from here. Hurin and Aragorn would have been a problem though, but what they could have done is literally one dwarf on this doorway could have held off the entire Gondor army, and like had a few more there, because the doorways act as barriers and walls. So obviously it would have just been one at a time fighting.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I would have had to move everyone around, and by that time happened, the rest of the dwarves should have got there. Yeah, but no, it's even in late game when I had like multiple men onto these dwarves, 6s to wound is just too difficult, and the Khazad were really starting to slice people down towards the end. I think 8-0 maybe flatters my score a bit, maybe.
I don't know, but well, I think early on in the game it did feel like I was getting pummeled, but then yeah, like you say, once the rest of the army joined up, I started feeling a bit more like I was starting to get the upper hand. So yeah,
I felt maybe Durin could have gone into combat that last turn, because I think your courage on the dwarves being courage 5 with his warhorn, I wouldn't have worried about that. I think having that 3 point of might every turn is really good, because I don't have to think about going, do I want to have a heroic move or heroic combat, and like sometimes I'm like going, might as well do it. But no, I'm happy with Aragorn. Hopefully none of my league members will see this and see that I'm figuring out this list, but this is probably what I'm going to be running. I've heard someone's going to be running Army of the Dead, so that's what he's there for, and that's what Aragorn's there for. So here we go. But no, great game, Dave, and wish you all the best in your league, in your lower league. But no, I think your army should be quite good. I think one of Dave's members of that league have announced his army as Riders of Rohan, so that should be quite cool. And also nice, I haven't played Assassination before. Interesting game. Thanks to everyone at GW for writing up this tournament guidebook. Very good. I think we've probably got plenty of time maybe to squeeze in another game. We might time it for practice. We won't record it though.
Is that going to slow things down?
Yeah, it's going to slow things down. I don't think my battery's going to last, because I have a Flames of War game after this. So yeah. So I think what we will do is play Fog of War, which is one of the other missions in this league. So me and Dave have already played Clash by Moonlight, so Fog of War is the last one. So what we'll do is put all our troops off the table, and we will basically set up for another game and keep the train the same. Okay, right. Hope you enjoyed this game. Please subscribe and let me know if you spotted anything wrong. And I'll challenge you, and also, you know who you are, who found out the rules about the Avenger Bolt Thrower. You're an absolute legend, and I'm going to call you Subscriber of the Year, because you're so amazing to me right now. So thank you very much for that. So I know wasn't going to mention, but this is the end of the second game me and Dave played, and we tried Fog of War. So I've practiced, well, me and Dave between us now have practiced all 3 between us with our chosen armies. So as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 dwarves and Durin left, and the final score was 9-0. I didn't get full points because Hurin was my hero I nominated to protect, and Durin only went and killed him. My target was Mardin, and Aragorn, who's been going around the board like clappers, killed Mardin, and he also killed the Dwarf King, so I got points for that. My terrain feature was the far left forest for me. I got that. Dave's one was the far right hill, which has nothing on it, and unfortunately for Dave, it was the siege veteran he was going after, so a nil point. Unfortunately for Dave, but obviously I took a lot more casualties this time. I think the 9-0 is really unfair, since Dave did kill a lot more, and he did kill Hurin as well this time. But Aragorn on that 3-pointer might man, just brilliant. Because if he doesn't, if you get priority and you move first.
Player of the game in both games, I think.
Oh yeah, I think late game, because if you haven't used it in the movement phase and you use it to hero combat, Aragorn's moving around this board like crazy. Right. So yeah, I just thought I'd check this on the end. Obviously, maybe could have recorded it, but the battery would have really suffered. So again, hope you enjoy. I also caught two other guys in our hobby league playing as well. So I hope their game went well. So.
How many of the games, Rob?